Hey everyone, this is Drake Bell, and you're watching Childhood DVD Fan right here on YouTube.
Hi everybody, Clint Carmichael here on Childhood DVD Fan. Thanks for asking me to be a part of this and to talk a little bit about my experience working on Drake and Josh. First question is, how did I get the part of Officer Becker? And that came about in a really typical way, how working actors get jobs. My agent called me up, said, hey, I have an audition for you for Drake and Josh. I go in. Casting director, Krisha Bullock. Her assistant at the time, I believe, was Jenny Treadwell, another sweetheart. They put me on tape. I do my audition. They give me an adjustment. I do the adjustment. I hope that they found it entertaining and funny. And then I cross my fingers that I'm going to get a call and book the job. And that's what happened in this instance. It just so happens that also personally, I know Krisha Bullock. She's a friend. Her husband, Stuart Alexander, was an actor originally who I met in one of the early jobs that I did, a commercial gig for Hardee's, which is a fast food chain. And Stuart, who's quite a bit smaller than me, we played furniture movers. Dan Reardon, big tall actor like myself, 6'4". I'm 6'4", Stuart, not 6'4". We basically let go of ropes and a piano comes down and Stuart's left holding the ropes and he shoots up because our Hardee's burgers are so tasty. So anyway, that's the way I met Stuart originally and Krisha originally. Back then she was casting for Nickelodeon and she was doing, I want to say, Zoe 101, but she went on to do, gosh, man, I think she still is, casting all sorts of Nickelodeon shows as well as other things. But that's how I got the job. Why didn't Becker and Dobbins arrest Drake and Josh? Great question. I think the answer, because I don't believe it was ever told to us explicitly, is that we're police officers and reasonable ones, and we recognize right away that Drake and Josh are teenagers that made a bad choice. They're not bad guys. And what do we want to do? We want to talk to their parents so that these kids do not continue to make bad choices. So I think that is why. Why did we laugh at Walter? Right as we're leaving, it was one of my favorite parts of the scene because prior to that we're being pretty straight. We're talking to the parents, telling them, hey, no problem, but we have this program. It very often is going to help set kids straight that seem like they're making some bad choices. And then Teddy recognizes Walter that he is the weatherman, in fact, on a local channel. And we just laugh like it is the most inside of inside jokes. And I don't think anybody explained what it was, but the inference was the guys at the station who know different, broadcasters, in the community, had some inside joke about Walter. Now, he's a weatherman. I would assume that police officers at the station probably would have other favorites, and they were probably female. And Walter was not fitting into that, and it was probably something to do, with a joke at his expense. So inside joke, that's all we had to hear in the directions to just laugh. I know Teddy and I both loved doing that. It's a fun show, and it was pretty lighthearted, so we didn't need to hear a whole lot of backstory to just go with whatever the directions were. Let's see, why did Teddy go back alone once they actually decided to do the Steered Straight program? I think that answer is actually really practical. Show business, it's a business, and very often decisions get made on just how much money they're spending. And I think they simply realized, gosh, we don't have to have two actors come back for this. We've established what this is. One actor can come back. And so Teddy was the lucky actor to do that. I would have loved to have done it, but they called Teddy. Let's see, was it a prop, radio, or reel? I want to say, and actually ask another question about the uniform, if that was our own or if it was, props and wardrobe. That wardrobe was theirs. Typically TV shows have pretty extensive access to not only a wardrobe, maybe they've established over a while, but all the rental houses that create wardrobe and whatever kind of look you want. I don't remember, as to his question, if the radios were real, but I think they were. We didn't use them, so they didn't, have to be charged or real, but I believe they were real, as many props are. and the wardrobe was theirs. So we just were actors, came in, gave our sizes to wardrobe. They suited us up with all of the appropriate and official belt, baton, all the gear, put it in the right place, and that was that. So we'd look the part. And let's see, do I? And so I answer this question. I don't own the uniform and all of that. Do I still own the script? I don't own the script, but I do have a couple of the title pages, because I tend to send or to save title pages of all the different shows that I do, just for just kind of like a scrapbook of different shows. Been in the business a long time, worked a lot of shows. It's just fun to have that title page and the cast list, see your name there with everybody else. The reason why I have two script pages is because back in the day, when I shot this, 2007, pre-gray hair, my daughter was 11 years old. And Drake and Josh was, man oh man, the biggest hit ever for her age group. She was a huge fan. When I got that job, prior to that, I've been an actor for a lot of years, done a lot of shows. I'd never seen her so excited in my life. And originally, when I first got the job, I thought naively, like some other shows, I might be able to get her to come on set and maybe meet the guys. But in the fourth season, Drake and Josh went from the initial seasons being popular to absolutely being crazy. And in that last season, by the time they got to the 14th episode, it was a lock set, because the fans were just going crazy for it. So they couldn't have any of that kind of access. But I got autographs on that title page of the script for my daughter. And I can tell you this, when I came home and showed her the title page with their names on it, she was coming downstairs. She didn't even make it all the way down. She leapt from, I want to say 5 steps up, into my arms, screaming. She was so happy to have that. That title page was framed and on her wall, I want to say, for close to 10 years after that. So it's one of the fun things about acting jobs, nice people that you meet, as well as things like that, having an 11-year-old daughter just beside herself because you're working one of her favorite shows. Another little piece of trivia is Nickelodeon, the studios there on Sunset, are in what used to be, back in the good old days, the Errol Carroll Theater. And that was like Ciro's, like in the 30s and the 40s, a big nightclub with showgirls and singers and dancers and the full-on Hollywood nightclub scene back in the day. And I know this because my mom, in the early 50s, was an Earl Carroll showgirl. So when I went there, the Nickelodeon studios had converted that space, obviously, but in the lobby, there's a lot of memorabilia and various things from that time to, pay tribute to its heritage. So I was able to take some pictures, show my mom, who got a huge kick out of it, as well as I did, because that's just fun to be, touch part of the history of Hollywood. Do I keep in touch with anyone from the show? And no, I wound up just working that one episode. So I didn't really create any new relationships with anybody on the show. But I can tell you that Drake and Josh were a pleasure. We had nothing but fun. Nancy and Jonathan, mom and dad, they were both sweethearts. They're having a great time. They were so nice to work with. And basically the crew as well. Pretty much a well-oiled machine on Drake and Josh in that last season. So that's basically it. Had a great time. It's definitely a really, really fun memory for me. And I hope you enjoy this. Thanks for asking me.
Hey, this is Jonathan Goldstein Walter from Drake and Josh. I just want to thank you for watching Childhood DVD Fan right here on YouTube.